Breaking into a new industry without direct experience is not about applying to hundreds of jobs and hoping for the best, right? I said that at the beginning of this episode. It's about building relationships through strategic, intentional networking. Welcome to the Workforce Link podcast, where we're offering forward-thinking conversations for the workforce, linking employers and job seekers to a brighter tomorrow. I'm your host, Sundi Jo Graham with the Central Workforce Development Region, and I am so glad to be back for another episode, to finally be back for another episode of the Workforce Link podcast. It's been a while. Again, so glad to be back. We've got another great season ahead of us. Going to focus on some really great topics, some great interviews that I know you're going to enjoy because I enjoyed them. So today we are tackling a big question. How do you break into a new industry when you don't have direct experience? So if your plan is to apply to 100 jobs online and hope for the best, okay, let's get started. I hate to break it to you. That is not the best strategy, okay? I've seen many people get stuck in that cycle, but there's really good news. There's a better way, okay? So before we dive into that, I want to ask you a favor. If you have enjoyed the podcast in the past, if you are glad the podcast is back, I would love for you to like it and share it and save it and all the things. This helps us stay visible, and we can't do it without you. Now, whether you're sipping coffee, whether you're stuck in traffic, whether you're pretending to work, let's dive into today's episode. So the key to, we're going to talk about making the leap, the secret to making the leap. The key to that, the key to transitioning into a new field isn't sending endless applications, okay? It's building relationships. And one of the most effective ways to do that is through informational interviews. Now, I'm not talking about sending generic, hey, can I pick your brain emails that make people cringe, okay? They're not even probably going to open it when they see that. This is about strategic, intentional approach that's going to put you in the driver's seat. Now, let's talk about how to do that. Number one, we want to identify target companies. So choosing the right companies to focus on is crucial for any effective job search, okay? Instead of applying everywhere, you want to narrow your list to 5 to 10 companies that genuinely interest you, okay? How do we do that? Great question. Here we go. You want to consider your career goals. So you want to ask yourself, what industry do I want to work in? What kind of work environment fits my personality and lifestyle? Is that a remote work environment? Is it a hybrid work environment? Is it corporate? Is it a startup? You got to know those things before you go in, okay? Another question, what type of company culture aligns with my values? This is so important. If you're not in line in that, you don't want to work for that company, right? It's just going to make you miserable. Another question, am I looking for stability, growth, innovation, or a mission-driven organization? So the first thing you want to do, consider your career goals. Number two, you want to do some research. So you can do this through various platforms. You've got LinkedIn, you've got Glassdoor. You can use those websites to look at employee reviews. You can learn a lot about the company culture just by checking out their website, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, things like that. You can also see the open roles that are available. You also want to research what are the industry best of list. And so that means you can go check out Fortune 500, Inc. 5000. You can look at niche industry rankings, and you can get more information that way. Also, you want to check out their social media and their news. How do they engage with their employees? How do they engage with customers? That's going to tell you a lot right there. So you want to do some research. And then you want to look for companies hiring in your desired role. So explore some job boards. Again, LinkedIn, Indeed, industry-specific sites. You can learn a lot just on those sites themselves. And even if they don't have open roles, companies on your list should have at least a hiring history for the positions you're targeting. That's really important, okay? They should at least have a hiring history for the position you're targeting, unless there's some small startup maybe that you need to convince them that you're the one that they need to hire for that, right? Okay, so you want to look for companies hiring in your desired role, and then you want to find companies that excite you, right? If you're not genuinely interested in them, it's going to be really hard to build authentic connections, right? Okay, so The first step is to identify target companies, right? Consider your career goals, do some research, look for companies hiring in your desired role, and find companies that excite you, okay? The second thing, find the right contacts. So once you have your target companies, the next step is to identify people who can provide insight into their culture, their hiring practices, industry needs, right? You want to talk to the people. So who should you reach out to? Well, you want to find people in the department that you want to work in. That's a really great start. So if you're transitioning into marketing, reach out to somebody on the marketing team there, right? Talk to them, ask them, hey, tell me about all the things we just went over, right? Tell me about their reviews. Tell me about the atmosphere. Tell me about the culture, all the things. Tell me about the environment. Same thing as tell me about the atmosphere, but you get the point, right? Also, you want to talk to alumni from your school, maybe. LinkedIn makes it really easy to do this, right? You can filter by company, you can filter by school to find alumni that might be open to just sharing some information with you. And speaking of LinkedIn, we've mentioned that a couple times in this episode already. We talked about how to upgrade your LinkedIn profile in episode 27 of this podcast. And I will share the link to that in the show notes for you. I highly recommend going back and checking that out. Also, reach out to mid-level employees. So a lot of your senior executives are busy, and I'm not saying don't reach out to them because some people might want to have a meeting. I've personally done that myself, and it worked out in my favor, but they're really busy a lot of times, and HR professionals might not always be your first contact, right? But mid-level employees who are once in your shoes, right, who once started where you were, they might be more approachable. They might be more helpful, okay? So reach out to people in the department you want to work in, alumni from your school, mid-level employees. Now, where do you find those people? Again, LinkedIn. I'm talking about LinkedIn again. Use the search bar, filter employees. You can do this, right? There's so much you can do with LinkedIn. And that's just with the free version, right? You can filter employees by company, by department, by shared connections. And then also go to the company websites. You know, some companies have team pages that list their employees' names and that list their employees' roles. You can find a lot of information. And speaking of that, here's an extra tip for you. If their email address is not on the website, there's a free way that you can try to find their email address. It's called hunter.io, hunter.io. I'll share the link to it in the show notes, but you can enter the website URL and then you can search for the people by name. Or you can even enter just the URL, and a lot of times it'll list for you the email addresses by people in the department. It's an amazing free tool. It's hunter.io. Again, I will share that in the link to the show notes for you. And then industry events, conferences. Networking is key, right? We have talked about networking multiple times on this podcast. Networking in person or virtually at industry-specific events can open doors. Go introduce yourself to people, tell them what you're interested in, get to know more about the culture at the job, about the roles, all the things. That's a really great opportunity to actually meet people face to face, okay? So you can LinkedIn, websites, events, conferences, okay? And then the third thing that you want to do is reach out authentically. Okay? This is so important. When you're doing outreach, you don't want it to be a sales pitch, right? You don't want to be authenticity, right? That's what we just said. You want to just be real. People want real. They can see through it when you're not, okay? So your outreach should feel natural. Not like a copy paste request for a job, okay? They get that all the time. The goal is to learn from their experience, right? Not just ask them for a job up front. You want to learn. You want to prove yourself to them. You want to show them that you're invested, right? So how do you do that? Here's how you can write a strong message, okay? You want to keep it short. You want to keep it respectful and to the point. People are busy. They're reading a gajillion emails a day. If you want them to read your email, it's got to be short. It's got to be to the point. It's got to be respectful, okay? Also, be specific about what you admire about their work or their company. Okay, be very specific. Again, don't make it salesy. Be real. Don't just go copy and paste their mission statement off the mission statement off the website. You want to be real about it. Okay, and then also make it clear that you're not asking for a job. You just want insights. You just want to learn more. Okay, so keep it short, respectful, to the point. Be specific. And make it clear that you're not asking for a job, okay? So here's a little example for you that I just wrote up. So you could say, hi, whatever the name of the person is. I'm a big fan of the work you're doing at so-and-so, name of the company, right? I'm exploring a career shift into whatever industry you're trying to get into, and I would love to hear about your experience. Would you be open to a quick 15-minute virtual coffee chat? No pressure at all. I just love to learn more about your journey. Now, if they're in the same city as you, hey, don't be afraid to ask them to go to in-person coffee. It doesn't have to be virtual coffee, right? The worst that they can say is no. But that was simple and to the point, right? It was short, it was respectful, it was specific. You're not asking for a job, you just love to learn more, right? So some of the best practices for outreach is the first thing you want to do is personalize the message, right? Mention something about their work and then keep it concise, right? You notice how that sample email that I shared with you, 3 to 5 sentences max, right? It was short and to the point, and end with a clear ask. Hey, would you be open to a quick 15-minute chat? Tell them exactly what you want. Don't make them guess, right? And if they don't respond in a week, give them a week, right? Don't pressure them. Follow up once with just a short, polite reminder. Hey, was just following up on this, and even paste the email in there again, so they're not having to look for the email or they're not having to scroll down and read that, just so that you're reminding them, but you're still being short, concise, to the point, respectful, all the things, right? Hey, are you looking to gain real-world experience while exploring your career options? The Central Workforce Development Region is here to help. Through on-the-job training and work experience programs, we connect job seekers with employers who are ready to invest in their future. On-the-job training, you can earn while you learn. Get hands-on experience directly from an employer while receiving a paycheck. It's a win-win because businesses build a skilled workforce and you gain the experience needed to succeed. And then we have our work experience program. So if you're 14 to 24 and have little to no work experience, this program is your stepping stone to a brighter future. You'll gain valuable skills, you'll make professional connections, and strengthen your resume, all while getting paid. Plus, we offer additional programs, including our youth employment opportunities, CDL training, healthcare training, and more to help you gain the skills and certifications needed for a successful career. You can start your journey today by visiting cwdregion.com/training services and find your nearest Central Region Job Center to learn more. That's cwdregion.com/training services, and I will share the link in the show notes. Okay, number 4, you want to learn and listen. So if they agree to a conversation, your job is simple, right? Listen, take notes, and learn. Listen, take notes, and learn. But come ready for questions, right? Here's some key questions that you can ask. How did you break into said industry? Okay. What skills help you transition into this role? What challenges did you face when starting out? What advice would you give someone looking to enter this field? Are there any resources like books, courses, networking groups that you'd recommend? And here's a pro tip, though you want to ask questions, right? And I just gave you some great examples. Let them do most of the talking, okay? Because people love sharing their stories, and you're going to get more insights by listening, right? So let them do most of the talking. So number 4, learn and listen. Number 5, ask for referrals. So if you've made it this far, say you're sitting in coffee, for example, right? You've started to earn a little bit of their trust because they're willing to show up and talk to you, right? So before ending that conversation, keep the networking momentum going, okay? Don't miss this step. So you want to ask, right? Ask for referrals, but you can do this without being pushy, okay? So say things like, hey, this has been really helpful. Thank you so much. Is there anyone else in your network that you think I should connect with, right? This leaves the door open for them to give you a connection. Would you recommend anybody else that I should learn from? Many people are going to be happy to introduce you to somebody else, especially if they find value in your conversation, right? They call this the know, like, and trust factor, right? They're starting to get to know you. They like you, obviously, because they're not going to give you a referral if they don't like you. And then they start to trust you a little bit more, right? And they're going to want to give you that referral or connect you personally with somebody, right? So you want to ask for referrals. Number 6, repeat and build, okay? So one informational interview is a really great start. But the more conversations that you have, the stronger your network becomes. That's really where this know, like, and trust factor starts to come in, right? So here's how you keep the momentum going. You want to track your progress, okay? So keep a simple spreadsheet of who you've talked to, who you've spoken to, what your key takeaways from that were, and then comment and note any follow-ups that need to happen, okay? So track your progress and then follow up with a thank you note. Follow up. This is so important. Send a quick email or a LinkedIn message. Thank them for their time. And honestly, listen, if you want to stand out, send a physical thank you note. I'm not kidding. Why? Because most people don't do this anymore. You can easily find anybody's address on the internet these days, right? They're not going to be expecting it, and it's going to put you even higher on their list most of the time. It's going to increase that know, like, and trust factor, right? Because I would say, this is just my statistic, but I would say 95% of the people are not going to send them a physical thank you card. So you're already standing out by doing that, right? And then you want to stay in touch. Engage with their LinkedIn posts. Check in occasionally. Let them know if their advice helped you land a new role, right? Keep them in the loop because those relationships matter, okay? So you want to repeat and build, okay? Breaking into a new industry without direct experience is not about applying to hundreds of jobs and hoping for the best, right? I said that at the beginning of this episode. It's about building relationships through strategic, intentional networking. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of what we covered. If you're new to this podcast, I always like to do this at the end of every episode, just do a quick recap of what we've learned. If you've been listening to the podcast for a while, well, you already know what to expect, right? So let's do a quick recap. Number 1, identify target companies. Number 2, find the right contacts. Number 3, reach out authentically. Number 4, learn and listen. Number 5, ask for referrals. And number 6, repeat and build. Okay. Now, if you're up for it, I've got an action plan for you. Okay. I want you to pick 2 companies that you'd love to work for. Pick 2 companies that you would love to work for. Find 1 contact per company and send that outreach message. Okay. Track your progress and follow up when necessary. So pick 2 companies, find 1 contact and reach out to them. Okay. And then track your progress. Okay. And remember this, if somebody doesn't respond, don't take it personally. Give them a week first, but if they don't respond after that, don't take it personally. Okay. Keep going. Keep learning, keep building those relationships, okay? And I would love to know how it went. If you want to share your success story with me, I would love to hear it. You can email me, sundijo@cwdregion.com. I'll share the link to that in the show notes. But I would love to know if you have put this into practice and how it worked for you. And if you found today's episode helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on new content. And if you know somebody who's trying to switch careers, hey, send this their way. Have a great week, my friend, and we will meet again in the next episode. Until then, remember this, there's always a brighter tomorrow if you're willing to find it.
The Central Region Workforce Development Board Incorporated and COPIC are equal opportunity employers and programs. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Missouri Relay Services at 711.